This one here is called Dastardly Debate Tips. Number 1, don't be a joker. Be a Batgirl. Number 2, don't stalk the shadows. Hand-to-hand honesty. Number 3, you're the Oracle. Batgirl, Oracle. Weaponize your database access. Remember, these are debate tips. Number 4, ignore the haters. You know how comic book fandoms be. And 5, ultrasonic hearing. A perk of being a smirking bat. Okay, so this is actually part of just a small 2-part series of tweets. The other one being heroic debate tips for social media. But I should break this tweet down first, and we'll then move on to the heroic debate tips. But first, your dastardly debate tips. Don't be a joker. I mean, that goes without saying. You don't want to be too much of a joker if you want to be taken seriously in debate. You want to stay away from the insults. There's a few key elements to solid debate form that it's good to have a sense of humor, perhaps, but to be a full-on joker, and if you're like the comic book Joker, a malevolent one, well, it's not very conducive to intellectual debate. So you want to be a Batgirl. Who's a good guy? She is a good guy. Batgirl, one of the heroes. Now, don't stalk the shadows. Hand-to-hand honesty. Hand-to-hand honesty. So you really want to be as honest and forthcoming as possible in your debate. You don't want to withhold information. You want to address everything that you can, address the subject that has been presented to the best of your ability, and of course feel the ability to walk away from a question if you don't have enough information, and if you wouldn't be adding to the discussion by using the wrong terminology or the wrong definition, or by misinterpreting the situation. You just make yourself look bad. It's better to walk away and say, oh, I'll look into this. I need to look into this. It's something you can look into later, and do some research and just get a lay of the land before you debate that point. So you might have to concede that point. But hey, this is dastardly debate tips, so I'm not sure if they can be trusted. It's very strange. Now, since you're Batgirl, you're the Oracle. Now, what I want you to do is probably, if you don't know the reference, you want to go to Wikipedia. But I'll sum it up like this, and mind you, I'm not the biggest comic book fan. I like comic books. I've read a number of them. I have a few favorite authors, but I'm not part of the community per se. So the Oracle, I don't want to spoil anything. It's in The Killing Joke that Barbara Gordon, who is also known as Batgirl, she, it's kind of a spoiler alert, but just as Robin became Nightwing, Batgirl became Oracle. So there's your comic book reference for the tweet video. You want to weaponize your database access. So you want to have as much information. More information is better. More information is better. I am pro information. And when you're debating other people and trying to have a discussion and you want to present a solid argument, you need to weaponize your database access, because that way you have all the information, all the points, all the pros and cons in the discussion are readily available, and you can use that against your opponent. But of course, all of this will be for naught if you don't ignore the haters. Ignore the haters. Because you know how comic book fandoms be. Yeah, a lot of people that you're talking to are going to be extremely critical, probably moralistic, and it's going to be difficult for you to have a good faith discussion with them. Because they probably, if they're coming in and there's an element of hate that can be sensed, tangible, mind reading may be impossible, but you can tell if somebody's not operating in the best of faith. Best of faith. So sometimes it's better to not get into a deeper discussion with people that it goes without saying you want to avoid the trolls. And you know how comic book fandoms be. They are pedantic. They love semantics. And let me tell you, semantics and being pedantic are not always your friend in debate. Because sometimes in the world of persuasion especially, the facts don't matter. Especially if there's a large irrational component to either side of the argument. And of course, ultrasonic hearing, because you're a bat. And it's a perk of being a smirking bat. At the time, we were dealing with a bit of a smirking epidemic. And people didn't know how to handle it. So it turned out that the smirking was okay, that it didn't have any sort of malevolent intent. The smirking was completely positive or neutral. It was not negative. And so if you're a smirking bat, you'll have ultrasonic hearing. So you want to be a good listener. You want to be a good listener and pick up as much information as you possibly can. That's one of the perks of being a smirking bat. So, onward and upward to the heroic debate tips for social media. And as you can see there, I do have a photo of one of the characters in the tweet. So, and before we continue, I do want to bring on my sponsor for today's tweet video. That is Diet Moxie. It's Moxie, but diet. As I am getting just a little bit parched. Distinctively different. Moxie. Diet Moxie. It's Moxie, but diet. Okay. Heroic debate tips for social media. Number 1, don't be a Batman, be a scarecrow. Number 2, don't address arguments. Expose secret identities. Number 3, even scarecrow has virtue. Bat signal it. And 4, you're a scarecrow. Spook them with nightmares. And 5, out of straws, make your escape to Arkham Asylum. Yeah. Heroic debate tips for social media. So, okay, let's take a look. So, don't be a Batman. Be this guy right here. You want to be this guy. If you want to be really heroic in debate on social media, you want to see this guy as often as possible. That's right. Scarecrow. He's sort of a man made of straw. And he's evil. Oh, he's evil. And he's always wrong. He's always wrong. So, Scarecrow doesn't address arguments. What Scarecrow does is expose secret identities. So he focuses on, if you were talking in philosophical terms, he focuses on ethos or authority or the person rather than logos, logic, reason, and evidence. He's not looking at the argument. He wants to make what could be considered an ad hominem attack, which is not a great debate strategy. But even Scarecrow has virtue. Oh, yes. And he should bat signal it. Signal your bat virtue. Because that's the way to go. We all know that we must signal our virtue. And by extension, bat signal our bat virtue. And you're Scarecrow. You're Scarecrow. Spook them with nightmares. When you're debating someone, make sure you have as many points of fear and intimidation by forces seen and unseen that you can point to and say that that's why I believe what I believe. Because I'm alarmed. It's nightmarish. It's a living nightmare. Right now it's in my head, but in the future it'll be manifest. A living nightmare. And that's what Scarecrow is good at. Generating living nightmares in his subjects. So, Scarecrow throws straws. Check the Wikipedia entry for that, unless they've edited it. But once he's out of straws he can throw at people, razor sharp straws, he just goes and makes his escape to Arkham Asylum. Game over. So, that's 10 great tips, some dastardly, some heroic, debate tips for social media. Hope you enjoyed. And of course, you can send me your dastardly or heroic debate tips as well. Leave them in the comments section below.